Good morning and welcome to another Motivation Monday. I hope you guys are all here to get motivated with me. I'm just still having my coffee so I can get ready to get on up out of here. Today we are going to talk about perseverance, okay? I was excited to talk about this topic because I know about it all too well. In fact, I'm going through it actually right now at this current moment in my life. I mean, wouldn't we usually go through it most times, all the time in our life? There's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be things that come up. There's always going to be things that happen in a way that we didn't think that they were going to happen, right? So we talked about planning one week. You could set out to plan for something, but when the roadblocks hit, you have to remember to stay focused and to never quit. If it's something that's really important to you, do not quit, do not fold, have perseverance, overcome it. So I'm not just going to tell you how to do it. What I want to start doing is more so going into depth about how to execute and go about doing it. So I'm not just going to tell you to do it. I'm going to tell you how to do it. First off, in order to succeed as far as perseverance, what you need to do is always have a mindset, a clear grasp on knowing what it is that you want to do. Okay? So we also talked about purpose one week. Knowing what it is that you want to do, writing your vision, making it plain, putting it down on paper, or whether if you put it down on a vision board. You know what it is that you want to do. You're determined about it. You've gotten yourself pumped up about it. So then that means that by having those things in place, by the time that you do start going after it, because there are going to be things that come up. A lot of people think success is a straight line. Really what it is a crooked arrow with twists and turns, and you might almost fall down the cliff, but then you pull yourself back up. You pick yourself back up when things come up. So I want you guys to get into the mindset of that, and that first starts with planning. So when you're planning, to go back into that, you have to know and understand that the things that you are putting into place, it does not necessarily mean that it's going to happen exactly that way. However, if you always keep your end goal in mind, then you'll know that no matter what, you will be able to get there because you have that determination. And that's honestly the mindset that you need to have to be successful. You have to have a determined mindset that no matter what, I am going to make this happen. And the only way you're going to have that type of mindset is if it's something that you really want to do. So I think another week we talked about adapting and not winging it, right? So at that time, that's when you want to be able to adapt, right? So when things come up, you have to have it in your mind that, okay, if something comes up, I have to know and I have to be ready to adapt to it. I think people get hung up on finances quite too often and too much when that's not usually even the case all the time. It could be something like you make an appointment to go somewhere and then that gets, or you have an interview with somebody or whatever it is and it gets pushed back. So then it rearranges your whole schedule. How are you going to adapt to that rather than just wing it? Wing it would be, okay, well, this got canceled, so I'm just going to go off and do something else during that time slot or for the rest of the day because nothing else will go the way that I think it's going to go because this one thing was set back. That's not the mindset that I want you to have because that's winging it. Just to reiterate that. Adapting would be, okay, this got canceled or pushed back. A, I need to follow up with that person or organization to see if we can get this rescheduled. B, rearrange my schedule because everything else that was supposed to happen after that, I still have to do. It's still a goal on my list and I still have to make sure that it gets done. So let me focus on these things and then I'll be able to come back to this, right? That's adapting. When you rework everything to still work out to have the same end result. So all of those things are a major key component into persevering. You have to have a determined mindset. And you know what I love about just when you're learning new things and you're reading new books? Currently, I'm finishing up Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I highly recommend it. I'm actually going to go grab it so you guys can know what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. It's a little book. You can get it on Amazon. I don't know. I think it might have been like $10. It wasn't more than $15 at the time when I bought it. But it's about this thick, right? So you see I only got a little bit more to go. I'm excited. I don't know if is it just me or does anybody else get excited when they're like finishing up a book? It's just like that clarity and that closure. But yes, this is an awesome book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So far, their big thing is, okay, you got to read this book because we're going to unleash the secret to you. One of the things that I think, because I do think that there's more than one here, but I think that the overall component, I will help you cheat a little bit, but I still think that you need to read it because they give you lots of examples, lots of stories from people that you know in history. So this is not just a made up garble. This is actual fact. Like we have things to back up what we're telling you and how these, and why we think you should apply these theories to your life because they work. So real people in history are used in here, but the overall theme from the beginning of the book that I kind of got from it is that it's basically telling you to be determined and don't let anything waver. That no matter what happens, if you are determined on your goal, then it will happen. That's the overall message and theme that I got from this. So this is really good to read because it definitely transforms your mindset. I'm all about transforming mindsets. Just like I'm trying to transform your mindset, I'm constantly reading things and developing things that transforms my mindset because I have to also stay focused on a daily on my goals. So this is really great. And basically, like I said, they basically are trying to tell you that the people that were successful in history, like successful on a whole nother level, were people that never gave up on their goals and their dreams because it was something that was super important to them. So they didn't give up. They kept at it. When roadblocks happened, they said, okay, I'm going to go back to the drawing board and I'm going to see how I can get to that end result. You got to keep that end result in mind, but you also have to appreciate the process because things are going to happen. So another book that I'm reading, actually, I wanted to share with you guys. My book club is reading it. We're reading this month, Mindset. So as you can see, it says a new psychology of success. Goes hand in hand with the whole Think and Grow Rich theme. Everything is in your mind. If you guys have been following me for a while, I say, and I say that I discovered this in 2014. I actually it's funny hanging out with some friends, turning up, whatever you want to call it. So they might have just thought that it was, like, oh, she just like fried. So she, like she just talking. But honestly, I felt like in that moment, and I tell people all the time, I feel like at that moment I cracked, if not one of the meanings of life, because I do believe that we have our own separate meanings and purposes, but the overall theme and meaning of life. And I really do believe that everything is in your mind. So before I even start reading that book, before I start reading this book, I had already understood, and I actually have an entire chapter dedicated to that in Life After 25, Intuitively Me. In fact, the chapter is called Change Your Mindset. So I'm already on board with it, but then I'm also surrounding myself with other people that are on board with that. But I did come to the conclusion of that, like I said, while partying, drinking with some friends. And, I really truly believe that everything is in your mind. And I think that we create our own problems a lot of times. And I have definitely been a prime example of someone that kind of approached something from a different perspective and thought about something differently. And then it completely changed how I felt about the situation. And it also completely changed how I went about situations going forward. So you definitely got to get control of your mindset. That is, your mental is the most important. At this age, I'm almost 28. I'll be 28 in August. My half birthday will be coming up in a couple of weeks if you guys celebrate that. But honestly, like at this age, I feel like I cannot let anything disturb my peace of mind. I cannot be in environments where I'm getting bad vibes. I'm just really big about the mental thing. Mental health is so important. That's why you have such a high number of depression cases. And I mean, even more that go unreported. That's why you have such a high number of suicides because people are letting things get inside their mind and they're letting it take over their mind. And, I have a cross around my neck, so I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I definitely have a very tight spiritual bond with God, and I have accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior at a very young age. I was baptized back in 2009, so not only am you know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say I was a Bible thumping Christian, but I do consider myself a Christian woman. I do have faith in that. I'm not a judgmental person, though. I think a lot of people kind of get carried away with that with religion. You know, you get a lot of people that kind of say that millennials have gotten away from religion and we're more spiritual. Absolutely true. But I don't want anybody to think that because I'm considering myself more of a spiritualist that I don't know who God is and I don't put him first, because I definitely put him first. And that's something that you do learn in religion. So I would say I'm probably in the middle. Just like with politics, I would consider myself a moderate. So, but you know, same thing as spiritualists. I love nature. I love being out of nature. I feel connected with it. I feel one with it. But I also value and adore my direct connection with God that I feel like I have. You know, I go to church almost every Sunday. So they also teach that kind of in church, is like their frame of mind towards the mindset is don't let the devil get inside your mind, which I also have that belief. I believe that when that starts to happen, that really is the devil, which a lot of you might just look at as a character and he doesn't exist. But I mean, how can you prove that any of the other things that go on really exist if you can't see it? You can't. I mean, at the end of the day, we all just choose to believe what we want to believe. But I definitely think he is a large component, as far as I definitely think he uses people. I definitely think that, you know, he tries to get inside your mind when he sees that you are doing things. So I'm just talking to you guys from a real perspective and from my belief system that, you know, guard your heart and guard your mind for sure. Because once you lose control of your mind, the heart is one thing, but once you lose control of your mind, that's how things like suicidal thoughts happen, things like you giving up. You know, every time you're doing something, something's going to happen. It is. It happens to me. You know, like I said, I go to church almost every Sunday. So devil attacking me on a daily, but I'm not going to let him get to me, and I'm not going to let him win. You know what I mean? And I mean, that's something that I can't even see. I mean, to you, it might be negative energy. To someone else, it might just be karma, you know, but there's so many different components about this earth, so many different energy exchanges, so many different things that we will never understand, even on the deepest level. Even if you feel like you opened your third eye, you will never understand because we're just humans. So, my overall message for you today is persevere, don't give up, keep at it. Write those goals down, look at it every day, look at your vision board every day, hang it in the area where, like mine is in the living room, so on my way out the door, I can actually see my vision board, and that's a constant reminder of what I'm supposed to be focused on every day. But I'm also blocking out anything that I feel like is going to interfere with what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? So, okay, people can be calling me, but if it's not for business, I'm not going to be answering my phone all the time. I can't sit on the phone and talk to people or listen to them gossip all the time. For one, it's not even something that I'm interested in per se, but that's knocking me off my square. And that's actually going to rub off on me and seep into my mind and have me thinking about things negatively, when at the end of the day, I need to be keeping it positive vibes only. You know what I mean? So, again, I always open that door for you guys to reach out to me if you need help with that. I am going to start pushing out more content and more resources to help you guys battle that. So even if you are not directly reaching out to me, I will make those available online, because I want us to all be successful this year. And 2017 is the year that we are all going to kill it. Not just me, you as well. So that's why I put these videos out. I hope that you're watching with me, and I want you guys to be so successful you don't understand. Because if you're successful, I'm successful, and we're all successful, and we're all happy because we're doing things that we all want to do. So I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys have a productive week. And I'm super excited this week because I have my first speaking engagement on Friday. So I'm sure the closer I get, the more nervous I'll become. But I'm super excited to be able to start getting into talking to people in person and not just on the internet. So you guys stay ambitious, stay motivated, and tackle those goals, and don't give up.